Hi, I'm Celso from Guará.ca, and today I want to talk about Deep Paint. It's a Blender add-on that quickly became my favorite way of making props for set dressing. So I'm working on this cabin in the woods type of scene here, and I need a lot of little props everywhere. Simple things like cabinets and cups and lots of circular objects, like the lamp here, even the lamp up here, and I want everything to be a little wonky, a little bit handmade. And the best way I found to achieve that is for me to draw the models instead of model them. And Deep Paint allows me to do just that. You can find this add-on on Blender Market. It's by Gaku and has way more features than the ones I'm gonna mention here because I'm only gonna show you how I am using it right now. So you install Deep Paint like you install any add-on in Blender. I'm not gonna go into it. So after you install Deep Paint, you have this new tab on the right side menu here. And most of what you can do is going to be here. But I also like to use E on the keyboard when not in edit mode. It's going to activate like this quick pie menu here. And because it's most of the tools are grease pencil oriented, when you do the E and you don't have a grease pencil active, the main thing that's gonna give you it's a add blank. So when you do that, you're already on drawing mode. I don't think the paint by itself does anything that you can't do without it, but where it shines is converting grease pencil to mesh in a quick, intuitive way and optimizing your workflow. So I'm just gonna make a quick vase just to show a little bit of one of the features that I like here. So if I make something like this, I can just press E to get this menu and click on grease pencil to screw. And now I have a vase. So the vase is, there's some funny things happening there, but the add-on gives you like a easy step-by-step of the next steps that you might want to do. Yeah, modifier, let me turn on wireframe so I can see better what I'm doing here. So if I click here on subdivide, it's giving me subdivisions without smoothing. If I click on round subdivision, it's actually same as applying a modifier here, but it's actually applying on the geometry level because it's giving me something to sculpt on. So I can go back here on sculpt mode and actually quickly deform this to break that perfect radial symmetry here. So because I wanted this to have thickness, the next thing I do is usually go to solidify. And again, it's not adding a modifier there, right? Because it's giving me like something to edit. So I got something here. I'm gonna go into render view, and doesn't look like anything because I don't have any lights, right? So it does have a cool material and some a quick way of setting this up. So you can go to global settings and add word. So now your background is white instead. You can add sunlight, so DP sunlight here. That already gives you a little bit more. With the object selected, I can click on DP material. That one takes a second, especially if you're on render mode. So it gives you this nice 2D material here, and still with the object selected, I'm gonna click on outline. Give me a solidify modifier and a displacement modifier with a cloud map applied. So if I change settings here, I can get more or less distortion depending on what I'm looking for, and increase and decrease the amount of outline that I want. I think this is a nice balance. So now I'm gonna lock into a view again, and I'm gonna press E, add blank again, and I'm just gonna draw a little flower here. So before I do the next step, I'm gonna do E again and convert to line mesh, and you can see it kept the pen pressure. So now my grease pencil became mesh. The grease pencil object is already being deleted, and the mesh is quite low poly, very decimated, and you can change the resolution if you go into the menus. We can do that on the next one, and you can just apply the same material there. And now let's say I want a leaf here. So one thing I like to do is, so let's do again E, add blank. So now if I press S, it gives me a menu of where I want to draw, like with all the settings that I want for my grease pencil. So I want this to be on the 3D cursor, and that's pretty much all I want to use change here. So let's do a little leaf here. Oh, I forgot. So I'm going to position my 3D cursor here, shift right click, and now I can draw a little leaf there. So if I go here and press E and GP to solid mesh, it's going to be way too big. So I'm going to undo that. And under GP to mesh on the right side here, I can adjust the settings. So right now it's solid is giving me 1 meter. Okay, let's do 0.1 meter solid. So that's way more manageable, not still a lot. So 0.02 maybe. Okay, that's more or less what I expected. So this is good. Just gonna apply the same. Interesting. Okay. Just gonna apply the material here as well. If I turn on wireframe, you're gonna see there is no edges on the top. So I can just use the side menu here to do a quick, where is the modifier? So triangulation is a good one to fill the top with faces. I could do a subdivide here just to add more resolution there, or a remesh, and a remesh would be even better for that. So I'm gonna go into sculpt mode and just deform this a little bit using the grab brush. So now I can just go here and click on the outline, and I have the outline there. I can also do that here as well. And let's just do a quick flower just for the sake of it. Actually, I'm gonna do a few blades of grass here. So I'm gonna position. Let's do E, add blank. Position my 3D cursor here. And because I'm using the plane, if I press S, you're gonna see that I have the 3D cursor as the stroke position, and the drawing plane is actually on the view. So as I rotate my camera, it's positioning this in different views. And now same thing, press E again and GP to. If I do it to mesh menu, it's gonna give me a few more options. I can increase the resolution. Okay, let's do it. And same thing, I can do the outline here. And finally, let's do the flower here. So I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna do a circle for the center of the flower. It's gonna be a very kid-like flower. Whatever. E, GP to solid mesh, and then I'm just gonna repeat the process. E, GP to solid mesh. Okay, so instead of doing like an M, I'm gonna do individual ellipses and see if that works. E, add blank. GP to solid mesh, yeah, that worked way better. So on edit mode, I'm just gonna move this face forward a little bit more, and I will do mesh and sculpt mode, and just smooth the thing. This out, holding shift. Similar thing, so pretty much same process, but okay, so now that I have this, I'm just going to do the exact same things as I did before. Just do the deep pencil material and outline. And I'm not playing with the settings because this is just a quick demo. So one thing that's cool is if you don't want to go through the entire process of making a proper 3D model, like doing modeling and then sculpting a little bit and doing UVs and textures and materials and all that, my project doesn't need that, and I'm the only guy working on it, so the faster I go, the better. I don't need UVs. I can just paint the material that this gives you. It's set up to work with vertex painting, so let's just give it a shot. So if I go into vertex painting now, I can choose, let's say, a brown. Oh, by the way, blending modes also work. You can choose, let's say, color dodge to lighten this up, right? Like, or even screen. If color dodge is too aggressive, let's go with screen. So you can desaturate as you go as well. Yellow and then I proceed to paint with orange, whatever. Okay, so I think this is like pretty. Another cool thing. So let's say if I wanted this yellow and I don't want to go there and paint, if I press here set vertex color, it just applies like a paint bucket in Photoshop, right? Like it just applies everywhere. And that's not a feature like that I see if I go on painting modes on Blender by itself. I don't see a painting bucket there. Maybe there's a hotkey for it I'm not familiar with. This gives you the set vertex color, so it goes everywhere. So let's just color pick this and add the green instead, so set vertex color. Same thing to the other leaf. I could have combined them to paint it a little bit faster, but that's pretty much it. So really quickly you can have this painterly looking prop that you can position on your scene, and that's pretty much how I'm doing everything for this scene here. So I just added a plane for the floor, so I can have a shadow there, and the material is actually pretty good. There's lots of for you to control here. You can control the amount of ambient occlusion and the color. So let's go darker with the color here for ambient occlusion. You can see here adding more grain. You can choose the size of the grain with this noise scale, noise contrast as well. Oh, actually the noise is like the more watercolor effect. The grain controls the grain. Yeah, so grain scale. So I actually kind of like it, the more like faceted look that it gives if you go more like with a larger, but let's keep it more grainy. And there's contrast. This shade position, I think it's a key feature, and the shade color, right? Everything's a little bit tinted blue. If you don't like the tinted blue, you can remove saturation from the shadows. I like it, so let's keep it. And the shade position, it's changing how sharp the transition is gonna be. So first one is the light, second one is the shadow. So if you have one far away from the other, it's gonna be this nice and soft transition. If you have them really close to each other, you see that the transition gets really harsh and more like a drawn on transition. So it goes up to you and your taste, but the material is also really cool and like quick, which is important, right? And if you set up here, if you go to utility, you can also set up a sky paint, and then you can pretty much do what the name suggests, paint up the sky a little bit. And if you need more resolution, you can actually add the same way. It's just a piece of geometry. You can just subdivide and keep painting. I don't know, pretty cool.